The last transmission. The bridge of the Gentle Dawn shook violently as another plasma burst tore through her failing shields. Captain Vincent Hall gripped the command rail, his knuckles white, watching the tactical display paint a picture of inevitable death. 40,000 souls, families, children, all depending on him to perform a miracle he didn't have. Shield generators at 12%, Lieutenant Chen reported, her voice steady despite the terror in her eyes. Another hit like that and we're done. Vincent nodded grimly. The Gentle Dawn was never meant for combat. She was a colony transport, massive, slow, and about as defensible as a cargo container floating through space. Behind her, scattered across 3 light minutes, 17 other civilian ships fled desperately toward the edge of the Kepler frontier. Mining haulers, agricultural processors, one converted pleasure yacht that had been someone's retirement dream. And hunting them all, the Dominion Fourth Fleet. Distance to the jump point, Vincent asked. 90 minutes at current speed, sir, his navigator answered. But, sir, the Dominion cruisers will be in optimal firing range in 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Not even enough time to say goodbye. The Dominion had swept through the outer colonies like a plague. No warnings, no demands, just systematic extermination. Their ships were elegant, deadly things, sleek obsidian hulls that moved with predatory grace. Humanity's military had fought them at the inner systems, buying time for evacuations. But here, at the frontier's edge, there was nothing between these refugees and annihilation. Nothing, except one aging transport captain and a crew that deserved better than to die in the void. Sir, incoming transmission from the morning prayer. Captain Rodriguez is... Her voice caught. Life support failure. They are requesting we take on their survivors. Vincent closed his eyes. The morning prayer carried 8,000 people. His ship was already over capacity. Tell them... He swallowed. We'll make room. The tactical display flickered as another ship, the mining hauler Perseverance, winked out of existence. 12,000 lives gone in a flash of superheated plasma. Vincent had known Captain Morrison. They'd shared drinks at the Kepler station just 2 months ago, complaining about ore prices and cargo schedules. Normal problems. Human problems. The display showed 15 Dominion warships closing in. Cruisers mostly, each one capable of vaporizing his entire convoy. Intelligence said the Dominion saw humanity as a contamination, a chaotic, unpredictable species that needed to be sterilized before they spread further into the galaxy. They weren't conquerors, they were exterminators. Captain, Chen said quietly, tactical recommends we scatter. Some of us might make it if we split up. No, Vincent's voice was iron. We stay together. We protect each other, even if it means dying together, he didn't add. The bridge crew worked in focused silence, redirecting every spare joule of power to the engines. Below decks, engineers performed impossible feats of improvisation, keeping systems running that should have failed hours ago. In the refugee compartments, 40,000 people huddled together, praying to 100 different gods in 100 different languages. United by one thing, the desperate hope that humanity wouldn't let them die alone. Sir, the communications officer's voice cracked with sudden excitement. I'm picking up a transmission, military encryption. It's the Terran Defense Fleet. Vincent's heart hammered. Put it through. Static filled the bridge, then a voice, calm, authoritative, and gloriously human. All civilian vessels, this is Admiral Patricia Stone commanding Terran Defense Fleet Gamma. We received your distress call. Help is coming. Hold the line. Hold the line. As if they had a choice. How far? Vincent demanded. Unknown, sir. The transmission is delayed, could be minutes or hours. The Gentle Dawn shuddered again. 8% shields. Vincent made a decision. All ships, this is Captain Hall. Redirect all power to engines. Drop shields. Drop life support to minimum. Give me everything you've got. We buy time. We live. But, sir, without shields. Without shields, we're faster. We dodge instead of tank. Engineering, I need 15% more thrust. Captain, the engines will tear themselves apart. Then we'll ride them until they do. Vincent grabbed the fleet-wide comm. All civilian vessels, evasive pattern Delta 7, random vectors, maximum burn. Make them work for every shot. The convoy scattered like fish before a shark, each ship jinxing and weaving through space. The Dominion formation adjusted, their precise tactical formation momentarily disrupted by the chaos of 18 ships moving in unpredictable directions. It was insane. It was desperate. It bought them 7 precious minutes. Vincent watched the tactical display, counting heartbeats. Behind him, Chen whispered calculations. The jump point grew closer with agonizing slowness. Then space itself began to tear. Dozens of jump signatures bloomed across the display like flowers of light and fury. But these weren't Dominion signatures, clean and efficient. These were rougher, more violent, human. And there were so many of them. Vincent stared in disbelief as the fleet emerged from hyperspace. These weren't sleek military vessels. They were freighters with welded armor plating, mining ships with jury-rigged weapons, patrol boats that had been upgraded with systems that probably violated a dozen safety regulations. And at their center, surrounded by this impossible armada of improvised warships, came the Indomitable, a proper military dreadnought, scarred and ancient, but flying humanity's banner proud. This is Admiral Stone, to all Dominion vessels. You've made a fatal miscalculation. You came to exterminate humanity. Instead, you've reminded us why we survive. The makeshift fleet accelerated, placing themselves between the refugees and the Dominion hunters. You wanted to see what humans do when cornered? Let us show you. The Admiral's voice was steel wrapped in fire. The Gentle Dawn shook, not from weapons fire, but from the sonic boom of the Terran fleet screaming past them toward the enemy. And Vincent Hall, colony transport captain, allowed himself to hope.
When humanity fights back. Admiral Patricia Stone stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching the Dominion formation with the calm of someone who had already accepted the odds and decided they didn't matter. 15 Dominion cruisers, sleek, powerful, crewed by a species that had conquered 40 systems with cold precision. Against them, 1 aging dreadnought, 23 retrofitted freighters, and a collection of mining vessels that had been hauling ice asteroids last week. On paper, it was suicide. But humans had never been good at reading the fine print. Fleet status, Stone ordered. Commander Marcus Webb, her XO, pulled up the tactical roster. The Rusty Nail reports weapons hot. They've mounted mining lasers on rotating platforms. The Fortune's Favor has torpedo tubes loaded with ore processing charges. And the Better Days... He paused, shaking his head with something between horror and admiration. They've strapped their entire cargo of industrial explosives to their hull and are volunteering for ramming duty. Stone allowed herself a thin smile. Tell the Better Days we'll keep them in reserve. No heroic sacrifices until we've exhausted the clever options. Yes, ma'am. The Dominion fleet was reforming, their initial confusion at humanity's unorthodox arrival fading into calculated threat assessment. Their lead cruiser, the one designated Alpha 1 on the tactical display, moved forward with predatory confidence. Stone knew what we saw. A ragtag collection of inferior ships crewed by a species the Dominion considered barely more than intelligent animals. Unpredictable, yes. Dangerous in the way a cornered rat was dangerous. But ultimately, doomed. They had no idea what was coming. All ships, Stone transmitted on the fleet-wide channel, execute Plan Chaos. The human fleet exploded into motion, but not in any formation the Dominion tactical computers would recognize. Freighters dove and rolled with the agility of fighters, their improvised armor plating glinting as they scattered in 17 different directions. Mining ships released clouds of ore particulates, creating sensor interference that bloomed across space like fog. The Indomitable charged straight down the center, drawing fire. Dominion plasma bursts slice through space with lethal precision, tracking targets with mathematical certainty. They hit the freighter, Second Chance, dead center, and the bolt passed straight through, hitting nothing but the holographic projection the ship had deployed while the real vessel rolled underneath. Decoy successful, Webb reported. The Dominion are recalibrating. They won't get the chance, Stone said. Signal Group 3. From the debris field of earlier battles, where wrecked colony ships drifted, 4 mining vessels suddenly powered up. They'd been playing dead, hidden in the wreckage, and now they emerged like ambush predators. Their industrial cutting lasers, designed to carve asteroids, raked across the shields of the nearest Dominion cruiser. The shields held, but flickered. Dominion tactical doctrine emphasized overwhelming firepower and coordinated fire patterns. They weren't prepared for an enemy that fought like a street brawl instead of a chess match. The freighter Longshot, commanded by Captain Sarah Chen, no relation to the Gentle Dawn's lieutenant, brought her ship screaming past Alpha 1 at a perpendicular angle, releasing her cargo. 300 refrigerated containers filled with water. In the cold of space, they instantly became ice bullets, traveling at relativistic speeds. The Dominion cruiser's point defense systems shredded most of them, but it doesn't got through, impacting shields in rapid succession. The shield generators overloaded trying to process the overlapping impacts, and for 3 critical seconds, the cruiser was vulnerable. The Indomitable's main guns roared. Alpha 1's hull cracked like an egg, atmosphere venting in brilliant plumes as internal explosions cascaded through her compartments. The proud Dominion warship listed, her engines dying, her weapons falling silent. First blood to humanity. Dominion fleet is adjusting formation, Webb called out. They're tightening up, protecting their flanks. Good, Stone said. Predictable. Signal the Wandering Star. The Wandering Star was a bulk ear hauler, slow and ungainly, carrying in her hold something the Dominion scanners had dismissed as worthless cargo. 17,000 tons of refined iron ore. She positioned herself above the Dominion formation and opened her cargo bay. 17,000 tons of metal fell through space, each piece creating a radar signature, each one potentially dangerous at these velocities. The Dominion fleet scattered, their tight formation breaking as they maneuvered to avoid collision with the artificial meteor storm. Into the chaos, the human fleet struck. Freighters and mining ships dove from every angle, their improvised weapon systems firing in a cacophony of lasers, missiles, and weaponized industrial equipment. A converted pleasure yacht, the Serendipity, used her racing engines to zip between 2 Dominion ships, firing magnetic harpoons that tangled in their sensor arrays. Captain James Rodriguez of the Morning Prayer, evacuated before his ship died, now commanded the mining vessel Hard Labor. His ship carried industrial drilling equipment powerful enough to bore through asteroids. He brought it to bear on a Dominion cruiser's engine section, and the superheated plasma drill punched through armor that had been designed to withstand military-grade weapons. It hadn't been designed to withstand mining equipment operated by someone with absolutely nothing left to lose. The cruiser's fusion reactor destabilized, and the ship vanished in a bloom of nuclear fire. 2 down, Webb reported, his voice rising with something that might be hope. 13 to go. But the Dominion were adapting. Their formation reformed, tighter now, their firing solutions becoming more accurate. A Dominion lance of plasma caught the freighter Prosperity, and she died screaming, her hull splitting open like overripe fruit. Another burst crippled the Fighting Chance, leaving her drifting and defenseless. Stone watched her people die and felt the familiar weight of command. Every captain out there was a volunteer. Every crew had chosen to answer the call, knowing the odds. They fought not because they believed they would win, but because 40,000 refugees needed time to escape. Because humanity didn't abandon its own. "Admiral," Webb said quietly, "the civil convoy has reached the jump point. They're beginning the transition." Stone nodded. The refugee ships were escaping, one by one, disappearing into hyperspace. The Gentle Dawn would be among the last to leave, Captain Hall refusing to jump until his people were safe. That was humanity, too. Stubborn to the point of stupidity. "All ships," Stone transmitted. "The civil convoy is away. Now we show these bastards what happens when you threaten human families." The Indomitable surged forward, her ancient engines screaming with power they shouldn't have possessed. Around her, the surviving human ships rallied, battered, bleeding, but unbroken. They had lost 7 ships. The Dominion had lost 4. By any military calculation, humanity should retreat. Instead, they attacked. The freighter New Dawn rammed a Dominion cruiser at full burn, her captain transmitting a final message. For Earth, for the colonies, for every human child who deserves to grow up free. The explosion took both ships and lit up the battle space like a newborn star. The mining vessel, Persistence, crewed by former combat engineers, deployed their ace, a magnetic pulse generator designed to separate ore from rock. At close range, it scrambled every electrical system on the Dominion ship beside them. The Indomitable's guns finished what the miner started. Stone watched the tactical display shift. 10 Dominion ships remained, but they were pulling back, their formation ragged, their perfect tactical doctrine shattered by an enemy that refused to fight by any recognizable rules. "They're retreating," Webb said, disbelief in his voice. "No," Stone corrected, "they're regrouping. They'll be back with more ships, better prepared." "Then we've failed. We've won." Stone gestured to the tactical display where the last civilian ship, the Gentle Dawn, was entering hyperspace. 40,000 lives saved. That's victory. The human fleet held position, guarding the jump point, as the Dominion withdrew to a safe distance. Both sides bloodied, both sides aware that this was only the beginning. But humanity had proven something critical today. They could be killed, yes, but they couldn't be hunted like animals. They would fight with every